Today, we're going to talk about a single, really powerful word, Zion. Now, you've probably heard it before, right? But what you might not know is that its meaning has been on this incredible journey through history. It started as a rocky fortress and ended up as something, well, something much bigger. So let's dive in.
So let's ask it straight up. What is Zion? Is it just a place you can point to on a map, a specific mountain, or is it something more? That's the big question we're going to unpack today, layer by fascinating layer.
To get to the bottom of this, our story has to start where it all began, with a battle. We're going back to its historical roots, to a formidable fortress that was about to get a new king, a new name, and a brand new destiny. Okay, so before it was famous, this place was a stronghold that belonged to a tribe called the Jebusites. And they were confident. I mean, they were perched way up on a hill, so sure of their defenses that they literally mocked King David, basically telling him he had zero chance of ever taking their city. Yeah, but David wasn't the kind of guy to back down from a challenge. As you can see here, he took that Jebusite taunt and ran with it. His warriors managed to conquer the fortress, scoring a massive victory. And in its place, David set up his new capital and renamed it the City of David. And this is a really big deal. This conquest is the very first time the name Zion ever shows up in the Bible. So at this point in the story, Zion is a real physical place you could walk to. David's brand new capital city. But right after this, something really interesting starts to happen. The identity of Zion begins to, well, it begins to transform. It goes from being the city of a human king to something way more significant, the chosen dwelling place of God himself. And you can actually see this shift happening in the language. Listen to this. The psalmist here, he's not talking about King David anymore. Zion is called the joy of all the earth. And here's the key part, the city of the great king. That's a reference to God, and it just completely elevates Zion's status to a whole new level. Now, this next step is maybe the biggest leap in meaning we're going to see. The name Zion starts to break free from just being a spot on a map. It evolves from a place into a name for the entire community of God's people.
I mean, this verse from Isaiah couldn't be clearer. God isn't talking to a mountain here or to a bunch of buildings. He is speaking to Zion. And what does he say? You are my people. The place had become the people. It's a huge shift.
Okay, so now that Zion means God's people, another layer gets added to the story. It becomes this central part of the hope for salvation, for deliverance, for everything being made right again. And all these incredible promises started getting linked to the name. The prophets said a savior would come from Zion, that God would never forget Zion, that the great restoration would begin from Zion, and that God himself would fight for Zion, for his people.
You can almost feel the longing in this cry from the Psalms. It just perfectly captures that deep, powerful hope. In the hearts and minds of everyone, Zion was now seen as the starting point, the source from which God's ultimate salvation was going to flow.
And that brings us to the final and maybe the most profound evolution of this word. The writers of the New Testament take all this rich history and expand it into this incredible spiritual reality, drawing a really clear line between the earthly city and its heavenly counterpart. So here's how that distinction starts to look. On one hand, you have Jerusalem, which often still means the physical city of David, the earthly kingdom. But then you have Zion, which is increasingly used to point to the city of God, a spiritual kingdom that exists beyond any single location. So then, when the New Testament talks about Jesus arriving, notice what it does. It doesn't just say he's coming to Jerusalem. It quotes the old prophecy and addresses the daughter of Zion. This was a way of saying that Jesus isn't just an earthly king. He's the true king of this spiritual Zion, the people of God. And this right here is where it all becomes deeply personal for believers. The focus shifts completely. It's no longer about a place you have to travel to. It becomes a reality that you are a part of. It's not about a pilgrimage to a physical mountain anymore.
And if there was any doubt, this verse from the book of Hebrews just lays it all out. It tells believers that they have already arrived at Mount Zion. It's not some future destination. It's a present spiritual reality. It's the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem, a kingdom that they belong to right now.
So let's just take a breath and look at that journey. I mean, what an incredible trip for one single word.
It went from a conquered fortress to David's capital to God's dwelling place, then to a name for God's people. From there, it became the source of salvation, and finally, the heavenly city for all believers.
All of which leaves us with one final, really important question. If Zion is this spiritual, heavenly city, this community of believers, what does it actually mean for us to live like we're citizens of that city today? And that's the thought we'll leave you with.